It's a beautiful Wednesday, and good to have you join us on News Express. Nigeria's already volatile political climate has taken another dramatic turn as former Vice President Atiku Abubakar weighs in on a controversial legal battle involving the African Democratic Congress and the Independent National Electoral Commission. At the heart of the issue is a failed attempt to deregister the ADC, a move that has now sparked wider concerns about the state of democracy, political competition, and the use of legal instruments in Nigeria's evolving electoral landscape. According to court documents that has since circulated widely, INEC firmly rejected the application seeking to deregister the ADC, dismantling their legal basis and declaring that it failed to meet the constitutional requirements necessary for such an action. The electoral body emphasized that their authority to deregister political parties is not arbitrary or subject to political influence, but strictly guided by institutional provisions and clearly defined legal standards. This position effectively halted what some observers had described as a potentially far-reaching move against opposition politics. Reacting to the development, Atiku's camp delivered a sharply worded response, framing the attempted deregistration as more than just a legal dispute. Through his spokesperson, Frank Shaibu, the former vice president described the move as a desperate and failed plot conceived in the shadows of fear, suggesting that it was part of a broader effort to weaken opposition platforms ahead of the 2027 general elections. The language used reflects the heightened political tension currently shaping Nigeria's pre-election environment, where legal battles are increasingly intertwined with political strategy. Shaibu's statement went further, characterizing the failed attempt as a poorly scripted political ambush aimed at crippling opposition voices. He argued that INEC's decision to reject the application effectively exposed what he described as the underlying weakness of the case, reinforcing suspicions among some political actors that the move was driven more by intimidation than by legitimate legal concerns. This framing aligns with a growing narrative within sections of the opposition that institutional mechanisms are being tested in ways that can affect the balance of political competition. At the center of this controversy is the role of INEC as an electoral umpire, tasked with maintaining neutrality while navigating an increasingly complex political environment. By publicly affirming that deregistration powers are bound by law and not discretionary, the Commission appears to be reinforcing their institutional dependence at a time when trust in democratic process is under intense scrutiny. The decision also sent a broader signal about the limits of legal action in reshaping the political field, particularly when such actions are perceived to carry political undertones. The development comes on the heels of a recent ruling by the Supreme Court of Nigeria, which advocated an earlier Court of Appeal decision that had barred the recognition of David Mark as national chairman of the ADC. That judgment had already introduced a new layer of complexity into the party's internal leadership dynamics, and the latest attempt at deregistration appears to have added further pressure to an already strained situation. For the ADC, the outcome represents a temporary legal reprieve at a time when it is facing multiple challenges, including internal disputes and high-profile defections. The party has recently lost key figures such as Peter Obi and Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso to the Nigerian Democratic Congress, developments that has significantly weakened its position within the opposition landscape. Against this backdrop, The failed deregistration attempt adds another dimension to the pressures confronting the party. More broadly, the episode highlights the increasingly tested nature of Nigeria's democratic space as the 2027 elections approach. Political parties are not only competing for voter support but also engage in legal and institutional battles that can shape the rules of engagement. In such an environment, actions perceived as targeting opposition platforms tend to generate strong reactions, raising questions about fairness, transparency, and the resilience of democratic institutions. Atiku's intervention also reflects his continued relevance in opposition politics, particularly as discussions around coalition building and party alignment intensify. While he has yet to make a definitive move regarding his political platform, his response to the ADC controversy suggests a broader concern about the integrity of the political process and the need to preserve competitive plurality. His stance positions him as a defender of opposition space, even as debates continue about his own role in the evolving political equation. Critically, the incident underscores a recurring tension in Nigerian politics, the balance between legal accountability and political competition. While the institution provides mechanisms for regulating political parties, including conditions for deregistration, the application of these rules often becomes contagious when it intersects with high-stakes political contests. The challenge, therefore, lies in reassuring that such mechanisms are applied transparently and consistently, without creating the perception of selective enforcement. For many observers, INEC's decision may serve as a stabilizing moment, reaffirming the principle that political competition should be resolved through democratic processes rather than legal exclusion. However, it also raises questions about how future disputes will be handled, particularly as political stakes continue to rise and alliances become more fluid. The coming months are likely to test the strength of Nigeria's constitution as they navigate an increasingly political atmosphere. As the countdown to 2027 continues, this latest episode serves as a reminder that the battle for power in Nigeria is not confined to campaign rallies or party conventions. It is also being fought in courtrooms, legal filings, and institutional decisions that has the potential to reshape the political landscape. Whether this will ultimately strengthen or strain Nigeria's democracy remains an open question. But for now, the rejection of the ADC deregistration attempt marks a significant moment in the unfolding political drama. For more updates and insightful analysis, stay with us on News Express. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and join the conversation in the comments section. I am Cassie Tony, and many thanks for watching.